Welcome to the Smack Talk quick highlight recap of what went down at last night's SmackDown. As today is the day, one of the days, one of the evenings or nights, depends on your time zone as to when WrestleMania 39 is going to go live. All right, so we opened up the show with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens confronting the Usos. And it was great. Like I said, I don't get tired of seeing or hearing these guys. Jimmy and Jay looking a little conflicted, trying to show a little bit of emotion and concern in regards to what Sammy and KO are telling them. I really liked that story because I had forgotten about that. Because I think they mentioned it before, back when Kevin Owens was new to WWE and the Usos had welcomed them, in the locker room and used to hang out with Kevin Owens' son and stuff like that. That was pretty nice to hear. So yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see new tag team champions. I don't know if it's happening on night 1 or night 2. I know I've talked about the card, but there was conflicting information from one website to the next. What's on night 1, what's on night 2. I know that Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns is night 2. I think that's like a pretty big given there. That's like an obvious one. But yeah. Now here I'll show you something really quick. Bam! Like when you do that move, do you know what I mean? Like it's just not normal. Like look at that. But then to actually land, like I've done some pretty big jumps and I've landed on my feet, and if you don't sort of like squat down and break not your fall, because you're not falling, the impact, you will fuck up your ankle. And the height, I don't sometimes think people realize just how high of a drop off that is from off the top rope onto the ground. And it's moments like that, especially when they do it in slow motion, that it just makes you realize just how, dangerous WWE as a whole can be. I've had people that have petitioned to wanting to cancel things like the UFC. Oh, it's a blood sport and all that kind of stuff. But there's more injuries in scripted fights than there are in real fights where you're out to literally knock the motherfucker out. Right? So anyways, it was just one of those once again moments, millions of moments that I've seen, where it just makes me sit, because I don't stand when I'm watching wrestling, where I sit in awe at just how amazing that is. And it was just nice to watch. It was the Fatal 4-Way. At first I was confused. I was like, why are they doing what's going to happen at Mania? They just chose to have a half of each team go in to compete. It was pretty decent. Bobby Lashley, it was, it was a little bit surprising, or should it be surprising, that it seemed like the crowd wanted LA Knight to win. I really wanted LA Knight to win. I think it would have done him a lot of good. Bobby Lashley already has a lot of accolades. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. I simply wanted LA Knight to win. It's just that simple. And there was a moment in that match, I forget who now, because it was such a cluster right in the beginning there. Like everybody's in there at the same time. This isn't like the Royal Rumble there where you wait for people to come in and you just start off with a couple of people. They got thrown through the second rope, and the way that they fell, it looked awkward, right? Because not only do you have to protect like yourself and your dance partner that you're in the moment with, but the people around you, and it can get very, very distracting. And it looked like when they went through and touched the apron on the outside to slide out, they kind of fumbled a little bit, and if you miss that and you land on your neck, you can end up like Big E. You can end up like Edge or Steve Austin. You can end up dead. Like it's a pretty wild thing, and I picked up on that. And it was just, yeah. So that's that. I mean, again, not disappointed. I'm happy for Bobby. I just would have liked to have seen LA Knight take the win. Raquel Rodriguez defeats Natalya, Shayna, because they had their version, again, of the Fatal 4-Way, split in half. Again, I don't know too much about Rodriguez, but it was pretty cool of her, I guess, to win. I would have preferred to have seen, because being a little bit biased, I would have preferred to see Ronda Rousey. But that's just me. Ronda Rousey in there with Sonya Deville and them two. But, whatever. Well, and them too. The other two that were in there is what I'm saying. I'm half asleep and I'm really excited for Mania, so like my brain's like all over the place. But, it is what it is. It was a pretty good match. This was a cool moment. Good thing I don't have to play it. I could just show the screenshot there from the thumbnail of the video. Latino World Order. That was pretty cool because, Ray was talking about, the Judgment Day are probably going to be there. And he's usually by himself, so they're all going to be there in his corner. So that's really cool. This surprised me. Drew and Sheamus together as a team. I don't know if it was scheduled that they were going to be together, but obviously they didn't exactly get along. They won, which is good. Like I said, I really hope they put that bullshit aside. I just don't know who they're going to have win at the end of this. I just really, really don't know. And again, for Imperium, I really like Ludwig. Did I say his name properly? I feel like I keep screwing up his name. I like him. I just don't know much about him for some reason. He just hasn't grown on me. There's just something... Ludwig Kaiser. Giovanni Vinci. Yeah, it just, nothing against the person himself. It's the character, right? I've said that before. I don't always have an investment in every single superstar that appears on the screen. Sometimes it's like, whatever. Kind of like Ryback. Whatever. Fuck that guy. So yeah, so that's that. Yeah, I just don't know. I love being kept in the dark. I really do, because it can go one of many, many ways. But my biggest thing, more so than who's going to win or retain, is whether or not Drew and Sheamus are going to put their riffraff behind them. And then, at the end, another, in my opinion, amazing promo by Cody Rhodes. And then Roman just came in at the last second, didn't really say much at all. His entrance now, I think, is longer than The Undertaker's. It's like, keep it up there, Roman. It's going to be WrestleMania 40 by the time you get into the ring. I would have done something a little bit different, because Roman kind of likes to be a little bit sarcastic, dry sense of humor. At times, and this is maybe why I'm not a WWE creative writer, but if I was Roman, I would have looked at Cody and I would have been like, look, you think you're going to do it? You think you're going to get this belt? Well, why don't we take a look at what that looks like? Grab one of the belts, plop it, maybe each one on each side of his shoulder, and go hold on to those for a moment. Does it feel good, Cody? Do you have your moment? Good. That's great, because that's the last time you're going to see these titles, and then just take them back or whatever. I would have done something like that, because the last time Roman just grabbed the titles and threw them on the ground and said, oh, have you ever even competed for any of these before? Have you even ever held one of them before? Yeah, I didn't think so. Right? So with that kind of sarcastic sense of humor, which is something that I naturally have, I totally would have done that. Absolutely. Anyways, like I said, now we see why I'm not a writer for WWE. And then there was the Hall of Fame, which I'm not going to talk about because I don't really have much to say. It was cool. It felt kind of short. I mean, I know I skipped through some of the thing, like to fast forward it along there because I was very restrained for time. But it kind of felt like we were missing some people. It just, I don't know. I mean, I was half asleep, like I said, but it kind of felt like, is that it? Like for a huge, huge, huge name. Like, I mean, big name, even though he's small physically. Rey Mysterio, I felt like they could have added a couple of people. Whatever. Anyhow, that's it for that. Let me know down below if you made it this far what you thought of the show. And I mean, it's okay to say this from week to week. I'm never going to be like, oh yeah, such an amazing show. I mean, sometimes, it can be a little lackluster. And there's only like certain moments that I like. Like some of my favorite moments was this segment. I mean, yeah, this one was kind of cool, like to watch. I enjoyed this part. I mean, this was fine. And I really like this. There you go. I could have summarized it in 15 seconds. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm and making me a little bit more relevant in the search results when people are looking shit up online. Why'd they change the Pepsi logo? Seriously. Now it's like not symmetrical and it's making my OCD, ADHD brain like, yeah, not happy. Kind of like that belt, like how the swoosh is not even. It's like just, I don't like that. Anyhow, what was I saying? If you didn't like the show, if you didn't like the video, this isn't a show, it's just a video. Go ahead, give it a thumbs down and I'll bend it in half, twist it, and I'll give you 10 of these. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, naturally that would be great now, wouldn't it? But if not, whatever. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. I wonder for each person that wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, Giant Memorial Battle Royale, whatever. If they get to keep a copy of it, because I think there was one that was broken before with Baron Corbin. Oh, fun fact. Off the top of my head, 1,203 days. Speaking of Baron Corbin, that's why, like, my brain, you can see how it works. Or how it's not functioning all that well. 1,200 where is he? 1,203 days by the second night. So by tomorrow. By tomorrow, it'll be 1,203 days since this guy's been pinned. TLC, December the 15th, 2019. We had not quite yet even talked about COVID-19. And Baron Corbin was the last one to pin that man. It's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. Like, wow. Longest reign as champ in 35 years, I believe. Yeah. Anyhow, enough rambling. Take care. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.